Hi, ladies. So we had some great questions that wanted to ask me, Leah Vanderlinden, about some of the stuff that I do, some of the spiritual, amazing yumminess that I do. Which one of the things that I love to do is to use crystals, and I use crystals for healing. I use crystals for amplifying my clients' growth, to remove trauma, to remove past emotions that are stored in certain chakras, and to really get all of their energy circles and centers flowing the way that they are supposed to. Hi, how are you? Thanks for joining. So thanks for coming back for day 2. And I am so grateful for Erin for allowing me to come back. Yesterday, I was online with my own coach, and we ended up going a lot longer than I was anticipating. So thank you for your patience. So as you can see, crystals are stunning to look at aesthetically, right? I mean, you can look at a crystal and they're just beautiful. But so many of us want to know, okay, yes, they're gorgeous, but we don't get them. And how on earth, Leah, do you do crystal healing? And how do you use these for trauma healing? I mean, what a great question, right? So let's kind of get into the basics here and start playing around and start learning a little bit about crystals. And then I'm going to end this with some awesome anonymous questions that were asked into Dear Coach, so that I can make sure that everybody's questions got answered. So Erin and I were just so grateful with the abundance of questions that we received. We were kind of blown away, and we want to make sure that everybody's questions got answered, and that you guys walk away learning some stuff, with us. So anyways, let's get started on learning about the basics, right? So let's get started. Since I use energy work in every session that I do with a client, even when they don't feel it, I'm always doing some kind of energy work. And what that means is a fancy way of saying that I'm moving things around. So as we learned yesterday, we learned about those brain waves, and we learned that those brain waves should be working together in harmony. And when those brain waves are all working together in harmony, that means that our life is probably doing the same. Things aren't stressing us out as much. Things aren't weighing us down as much. And our reactions are probably in calmness and compassion and love, and not irritability and wanting to snap, right? So when everything is working in alignment, like those brain waves, same with our energy centers, things are going to go better for us in a whole, because we're physically, emotionally, and spiritually feeling in alignment. Okay. So what happens is when your body is out of whack and it's not operating in that state where it's feeling like it's in an alignment, then you may find yourself having a really short temper, getting really bad headaches, upset stomachs, holding in a lot of fluid in your body and retention in your body, taking things insanely personal, feeling like you're tired all the time, like you're going to snap, right? Well, that's your body's way of talking to you, as it does all the time. And your body is telling you, we're getting energy, but the energy that we're getting is either too little, or it's too much in a certain center, or it's toxic energy. So your body is trying to tell you that it needs you to fix your emotions so it can fix the energy. Your emotional centers are in your body, and this will all make sense on how this connects to crystals as well. But we are made up of energy. Our entire bodies are made up of energy and water, right? So with that being said, energy anywhere we go is going to affect us, especially if we don't have the right kind of energy in our bodies. So let's explain a little bit about that. We have a ton of chakra centers that really just take the wheel of the energy that our body's supposed to get, and they spin them around and they put them to the right organs, to the right, getting your blood flowing and getting your body flowing the right way that it should, getting the circulation and juice going and all that yumminess, right? But what happens is when a trauma comes along or an event comes along where part of us shuts down. Remember when we talked about yesterday about that energy center, right? Remember when we talked about that filtering system? Well, what happens is when you go through an event and that filtering system gets blocked, your energy is affected throughout your body. So most of us know that we have 7 chakras. We have way more than that, but we're going to start basic here. Hi, Shamika. I know you're getting ready to go on live soon, so I'm trying to wrap this up. Feel free to go on later if you want to watch this, though. So anyways, with that being said, with your energy centers, so we all have way more than 7, but we're going to start with the 7. So when we have this crown chakra and this third eye chakra, right? They connect us to our highest self. They connect us to our inner wisdom and our spirituality and our guidance. And it's so important that they're clear, because when they are bogged down with past limiting beliefs, then that's what we're receiving as our spiritual guidance. We can get so much guidance, but if the guidance is going through all this filtering system and all this, right, you can only hear it, just a little bit of the message the way it was designed for you to hear it. You're going to hear it distorted. So you want to make sure that when you're really trying to pursue your gifts and you're really trying to help others and lead others, that you are working from a space that's clear. So doing meditation and doing breath work on your crown and on your center, your third eye, that's going to definitely help you. And there are beautiful crystals that can help shift that energy around, clear that energy, strengthen that energy, so that you can strengthen your gifts and strengthen being able to hear God talking to you or whatever it is you believe. We also have chakras in our ears. We don't talk about that very much, but there are beautiful crystals that you can use, and we'll get into some of this beautiful knowledge that can help clear out what is going in here, all that garbage, all the voices in the past that told us we wouldn't make it, or we weren't pretty enough, smart enough, thin enough, right? So we want to clear that. Same with your throat chakra. If you were at a place in your life where you always had to hold back your voice, you could never have spoken your truth, children were seen, not heard, so you rarely got to express yourself, or you were maybe in a yes, for sure. You were maybe in a toxic relationship and you had to silence yourself, or you worked for an employer that never let you voice your opinion. Okay. If that is something that you had, you might have an experience you might have throat problems, or feeling like you shortness of breath, or pain in your chest and your throat or your neck, right? So you want to make sure that when you're doing work spiritually on clearing out all your past limiting beliefs and really healing from your past in general, that you're also clearing out those energy centers where all that stuff was stored. They really go hand in hand. And that's what crystals do. They help give you a spiritual little tool in your toolkit box, right? They help give you that tool of just clearing stuff out. Same with your heart. If you had a lot of relationships where you never felt seen, you never felt heard or accepted or loved, you always felt rejected, or you went through abandonment, right? Every time now you try to love someone, even your children, these issues might still come up for you, because people that you love the most showed you that when you love them, they leave, or when you love them, they judge you. So there might be a lot of energy going on in your heart that is very toxic. So you want to make sure you're clearing that out too. I can go on and on, especially if you have had sexual trauma. If you have had sexual trauma, you are storing all that energy in your root and in your sacral chakra. And so when that is the place that you give life to your ideas and your creativity, and if that is coming from a place that was toxic and abused and full of just anger, regret, shame, all kinds of things, then when you go to create something out into this world, it's going through that first. So if you are in a place you're trying to create a business, create a new life, you want to make sure that you're creating it from a cleansed space. Same with if you're trying to get into a new relationship and you're looking for love. You want to make sure that you have taken the time to really send new life into your your root before you have sex with a new partner. And you want to make sure you're clearing energy out from past lovers, right? If it's stored in there, you don't want to bring that to the next relationship. So there are beautiful yoni eggs. Hi, Nikki. And crystals that you can use for that too. Hey, Shamika, will you confirm you can hear me okay? Shamika said, hi, Goddess, may do that because I have had my fill with tech issues. Oh, okay, no problem. So I want to make sure you can hear me okay. I was having internet issues too. So anyways, long story short, we are all made up of energy and energy centers, and our entire body is not only affected by our emotions and our energy centers, as well as the amount of water we get, so is our emotional responses. Our thoughts and emotions are very much connected to our energy, the way we respond, the way we love, the way we feel when we go into a room. It's all centered around energy. And your body has energy that comes out that shows up in different patterns. And so they're all connected to our physical body and our emotional body. And when these patterns of energy, when they're all working together, like we talked about yesterday with the filtering system, and they're working as a team and a unity, right? Then we experience whole health and whole enjoyment and fulfillment, right? Is because everything is working in harmony the way it's supposed to, because everything's working like a team. And that's when things start really going the way they're supposed to. But when all that stuff's out of whack, that is when you start noticing health issues, cyst in your ovaries, right? That's from tons of trauma down there, never having a place to go. So it just forms down there, and it brews and it brews and it brews. And then it turns into a cyst, or sadly cancer and different things like that when it goes ignored. And that's when you know, oh shit, there's something really going on, and I need to start moving it around and doing energy work. So anyways, everything about the crystal, in general, it makes it amazing because it's full of energy just like we are, and it has many centers, so to speak, and it very much is a portal to the other side in many, many ways, meaning it is a portal to the underground. Think of how it is formed. Some of them are formed in lava, some of them are formed in fire, and using the elements that we never get to physically touch and experience like we were supposed to anymore, right? Same with hey, Shamika, honey, can you confirm you hear me okay? And that I'm clear and it's not breaking up or anything. Same with, it is a portal to the upper world too, because the energy in it is so strong that it also connects you to the energy above. So crystals have a really deep connection. They have a connection to below and to above and to the highest vibration of light, which is the sun. The crystallization in them really occurs when the layers of the planet, they mantle fracture. So crystals, they're formed, perfect. Crystals are formed, sorry, I wanted to make sure I'm doing this right. They're formed based on the specific environment that they're in. That's why no two crystals are ever going to be the same, as you can see. They're just always going to be different because it depends on where they're formed. It depends on the elements in that situation of where they're formed. And that's even how they get their size, their shape, their color. So it really depends on their environment. And what's cool is that crystals are alive. I know that sounds silly, but they are legit alive. And they are able to work with human energy and human vibration by absorbing your energy, by shifting your energy and balancing it and restoring it. Isn't that cool? So they're really, really amazing, beautiful like things to work with, tool wise, spiritual wise. And they can be used for emotional pain, physical pain, and spiritual healing and transformation. And they can help with energy shifts. Perfect. Thank you so much. And yeah, they can help with energy shifts. They can also help when you have physical pain, like especially this one. It's phenomenal when you are having shoulder pain, neck pain, back pain. I love using them when I do a Reiki session. Even if my client is virtual, my clients laugh. They're like, oh my gosh, you literally make our body on your healing table, but I do. And I put them on all the energy centers because certain chakras vibrate with certain energy centers in certain parts of your body for healing. So they're really powerful to use in meditations as well as Reiki and inner child work. So I use them with every client, even when they don't know. Working with them really helps the body find its natural rhythm again and natural energy again. And that's why I know we had some questions about how do you find a crystal? How do you know which crystal is right for you? Well, sometimes my clients get frustrated with me when I say this, but this is the God's honest truth. You're going to want to go into a crystal store, okay? And they're everywhere. Most people can access a crystal store within about 20 minutes. But if you can't, there's other ways. But you're going to go into a crystal store, and the crystals are all going to be set up for you, right? And when they're set up for you, most of the time they're in a little basket, and there's a little piece of paper next to them. I don't want you to read the paper about the properties of it until you read your soul first. So go up to all the crystals and just allow yourself to feel in alignment with the crystal, whatever crystal it is. Just let your body be drawn to pick it, and your body will never steer you wrong, ever. It's so beautiful. So you'll go in, and every time, this is literally how I learned. I walked into a crystal store with my friend when I was about 16, and she had told me all kinds of things about crystals, and I didn't understand. I just thought they were beautiful. And she went her way, I went mine, and I walked up, and I had my very first crystal was not this one, but it was a clear quartz crystal, which that's what this is, but it wasn't literally this one. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so pretty. And I immediately felt the vibration in it touch my hand, and I felt it was something I needed. If you touch the crystal and you feel a vibration and a connection to it, it is something in your body that your body is lacking, and your body really needs it in its healing. So just trust it, pick it up, and then take a picture of it and Google it, or use the little guide that they have there and see, and you'll be shocked when you see that it's in alignment with whatever it is you're needing. So I personally like to go to somewhere where I can touch it as opposed to online, because anytime you're doing spiritual work, whoever touched your crystal that you purchased, you're getting their energy of their home, you're getting their energy of their shop, of them. So you don't want to just buy it from anyone. You want to make sure that the person that you're, when you're using a crystal for healing, that it's coming from a place that's also in alignment with what you're wanting. And make sure you sage it first before you use it. And most certainly make sure that before you use any crystal, you set the intention, right? So what does that mean? It means when you get your crystal home with you and you've cleansed it by saging it, or you have put it in some soil to get it back to the Earth's connecting back to its elements, or you have set it in your windowsill and let it charge by the moon, let it charge by the sun, depends what you're using it for. And you've cleansed it. Some of them you can cleanse with water, but you want to make sure you look that up first, because some will disintegrate, like selenite. You would never want to use this in your bathtub, but almost every crystal you can even use in a spiritual bathtub. So just before you use it, make sure that it's one you can cleanse that way. But I just like to use sage on mine or put them outside, right? Okay, so moving forward, when I get a crystal, how I set the intention is whatever crystal I felt really connected to, I would say to it, please, I am so grateful for you. I want to use you in assisting and healing my heart from my past relationship. I want you to show me compassion, love, how to really truly love someone the way God wanted me to, whatever it is you're looking for. Or I am having so much pain in my stomach and I want healing in that. You just set the intention of what you're wanting that crystal to do. The crystal will work on its own, but it definitely won't work to the level that it will when you set the intentions with it. That is key. So definitely do that and cleanse that, and then they're ready to go. Now, when you first start using a crystal, and especially if you're using it for healing of trauma or your past, you want to make sure that in the beginning, because you have so much energy coming out, that you cleanse it and recharge it often. pretty much after every use, just in the beginning. So then once you start using it more, you won't have to necessarily cleanse it as much. But if you have some really heavy stuff you're releasing, definitely cleanse it and charge it. I love to charge my crystals overnight, especially with certain moon's energy. So if I know that I'm releasing and I'm really wanting transformation, of course, when the new moon comes or the full moon comes, I'm going to put these in my windowsill, on my windowsill, so they get charged with what it is I'm wanting to do. If I'm wanting to evolve, right, and transform, then of course I want to use it on the night of that moon, because that's what I'm wanting anyway. So that moon is going to help with my healing and the intention, me setting the intention, and then me charging it by that energy is really going to help my healing. Does that make sense? So different moons, Google that too, because we could talk about that all day. But different moons definitely help with the charging and cleansing of the crystal. So anyways, but yes, in the beginning, I definitely recommend you cleanse them a lot. Shamika said, I have a bunch of crystals that I got at the store that sells them in essential oils. And now that the oils are gone, I want to get a container for the crystal. Perfect. So yeah, I like having my crystals spread out all over the house in certain rooms too, because they help cool energy in that room. So if I know there's a lot of tension with me and my son, then I would have a crystal that would pull that energy out of that room and fill it with what I want, this is a great one that I picked, because this one would fill it with love and light and compassion, right? Because it's rose quartz. So I would want big ones of these all over my house to assist with what I'm wanting too. Now, when it comes to picking a crystal, I get asked a lot. Do you use polished crystals, which are like this? See how pretty and perfect it is? These are all polished crystals. Do I use those, or do I prefer a rough crystal that is not polished, like this, right? Like this, where it's just naturally off of the rock or stone or whatever, right? Depending on what you're working with. It's to each their own. You have to remember that when you used a polished stone has touched a lot of hands. It had to go through a machine. It had to have numerous individuals touch it. And then it probably has had other individuals touch it and then ship it, right? And so there's a ton of different other people's energy into it. And it's not as going to be as strong as something that was pulled from the environment. And then now you're touching it like this cluster, right? So this is going to be a total different energy than this. Not to say that the polish won't work, because it will, especially if you set the intentions, but it's definitely totally different in strength of energy. So if all you can afford in the beginning is polished stones like these citrines, that's totally fine. They're great to put in your pocket. They're awesome to put on your bra. I love putting them under my pillow, or just holding them when I'm at work and I'm stressed. So you have to just start with what your budget allows. Don't stress if you can't afford the big ones yet. Just get more of them. You know, these are like $1, maybe $2. So citrine is an awesome stone. So let's move on here. So I was asked also, how do you know which ones to start with? Once again, no right or wrong answer. Your body is going to tell you which ones that you should use anyway. Your body is going to really speak and gravitate towards you of which ones that you should use. But if you're wanting to like the basic, most common ones, we'll start with amethyst. So amethyst is a beautiful stone. Isn't it just gorgeous? I love amethyst. So amethyst is all about spirituality. It's all about intuition, inner peace, inner wisdom, inner strength. It's about really being stable emotionally and feeling stable and stability. It's a stone to really help enhance your gifts and your clairvoyance and your psychic abilities. It helps you with comprehension. You know, that's one thing with having a learning disability, that I struggle sometimes comprehending certain things. So if I know that day I'm going to have a test, or I'm going to have to speak, or I'm going to have to read a lot of material, I would want to use something where I set the intention of, you know, really help me today be able to comprehend. It also helps with headaches and clearing confusion and swelling. So when I do a session on a client that is having a lot of swelling and circulation issues, then I know that I'm going to use amethyst all over her body. If she constantly has migraines and things like that, in our crystal session, I'm going to put them all over her body to really help with that. So that is your amethyst. Isn't she just a beauty? Citrine. Citrine is, as you can see, crystals all look different even when they're labeled the same. So this is citrine, citrine polished. Shamika, I know you had some citrine. I have a ton of citrine because I love it. So anywho, citrine's a great one. I think this might even, actually, no, I think that might be smoky. Anyways, actually, no, that is, I think, a citrine point. But anyways, so they always look different. But citrine, it's full of energy. Think of citrus. And it is supposed to be like the sunshine stone is what some people call it. So it's a self-cleansing stone that's just chocked full of energy. It's also a self-charging stone. It is one centered around when you really want happiness and joy and like that childlike joy, you would really use citrine. It helps with courage and hope, self-esteem, self-expression, creativity. It really cleanses all of those too. It helps with infection. So if I have a client that's constantly getting infections or struggling with autoimmune disease and different things like that, I'm going to use a lot of citrine on them. It helps with abundance and prosperity. It's definitely a manifestation stone. It's normally always in a manifestation kit too. It helps with heart healing and heart complications, physical and emotional releasing, circulation as well. It's another great one for chest pain and detoxification. So as you can see, this little baby, it packs a bite. Citrine is a great one to have in your toolkit. Shamika said, I just got some amethyst. And awesome. Are you cellulite? I don't know what that. Calcite, girl. So anyways, and another way is, another one is clear quartz crystals. So this is probably the most popular stone that you'll see, is a clear quartz. I love clear quartz. It is will always be one of my favorite, because it really is, if you can only afford to get one stone, the crystal clear quartz is said to be the master stone, the master energy healer, because it has so many things it can do. And if you use it in healing with any other stone, it amplifies that stone and makes it even stronger. It is just one that everybody should own. It's just an incredible stone. So it's the master healer stone. Like I said, it amplifies other crystals. It amplifies your healing. It amplifies anything you put it to. It removes negativity. This is a great one to have in your home. This is a great one. People ask me when they see spirits or they're having spirits in their home, have these all around. Definitely have selenite all around. But this is just a great crystal. It removes negative energy. It connects you to your highest self. It helps you connect to your spirit guides, to your ancestors. It literally can be used on any chakra for healing. It's just one of the most powerful stones there are. Look this up, because there are pages and pages of the properties of using a clear quartz. How you can wear crystals or use crystals, and I'll get into some more crystals too. You can wear crystals or stones for healing properties. Make sure you set the intentions. Understand that normally when you wear it as jewelry, it's going to be very polished, unless you can find someone that will do a rough crystal for you. So just know that you'll want to use that in healing, but definitely set the intentions. Before you use it, you can get the crystal beads and wear those. You can put them when you do meditations, you can simply hold them in your hands. And set the intentions of what you want that meditation to be, what you want it to release. You can put them on your chakras when you're doing meditation. You can wear them in your bra, like I said. You can wear them in your pocket. You can put them in those little satchel things and wear them. You can put them under your pillow, under your bed. There's so many different ways to use crystals, but you will know how you want to use them. So anyway, let's keep going. So another crystal that's a great one is one of my favorite, which is fluorite. And it's just such a beautiful stone. I mean, look at it. It looks like soap. It's just such a beautiful stone. Look at that baby. And here's its brother. Aren't they just stunning? Okay, so it's just a beautiful stone. But it means so many things. So it's one that you would use when you're really wanting to balance and ground. It is a great one to help you when you're going through really rough emotional times and challenging times. It is a great one for emotional releasing. And when you feel overwhelmed, overworked, you would grab it. It helps clear your head of toxic and psychic debris. So if you're working with clients and you just feel like for some reason you can't separate yourself, it's a great one for that. It helps give you new ideas, especially if you're trying to create something like a program or get speaking opportunities. It helps sow the seeds to doing that. It really is like your stepping stone to really help accelerate whatever it is you're trying to do. It also helps you with concentration. So it's another good one if you know you're going to have tests and stuff coming up, or you have big challenges ahead and you really need to like write that book and you've got a deadline. Sit quietly with it, hold it, really let it guide you. It's just an awesome stone. Anybody who is like suffering from ADD, it's another really good one. Another great one for learning disabilities. So it's one of my favorite because it also helps with confidence and focus and helping soothe the mind and insecurities from distractions. I mean, it's just awesome. And it helps you also like just want to tap back into you. So that's a really great one too. And I could go on and on and on about that one because it's one of my favorites, but there's just so many healing properties to it. Pyrite is another good one because it just has a ton of properties. It's also a good one when you're trying to manifest money. It's called fool's gold, but it's anything but a fool because there's really nothing foolish about it. It has a warmth to it. It signifies warmth. It has nurturing properties of the sun in it. So it's a great energy stone, but it's also like the masculine stone. It's kind of the get shit done stone. It's a stone that is full of action and willpower and commitment. So if you are struggling with any of those things and you have this one, you'll want to set the intentions of that and use it because it will really help you in that. It's also great with persistence, and really if you struggle with procrastination, it's even good with that. And it's really good for entrepreneurs and women who are really focused and trying to get stuff done, especially kind of alpha female energy. You would you would really benefit from having this pyrite around you because it's just a powerful one. It also helps with negative energies that threaten you. It can cleanse your aura and your environment and your psychic pollutions and help protect you. It helps you overcome intellectual fatigue or burnout. So, I can go on and on and on, especially if you have if you're doing any kind of spiritual work and you feel like you have spiritual attacks coming at you, get you some pyrite. It can help you when you feel like you're scared and you're nervous about traveling somewhere. Have some pyrite with you because it's also a protecting stone. So there's a lot of great things about having a pyrite, and you would be so grateful for investing in it because it has so many benefits. Rose quartz is one of my favorite stones. It is so beautiful, and it's actually fairly inexpensive because You can find it in so many places, and it's easy accessible for them to find it too. Oh, one of my dearest friends in the world just popped on. Angie, I miss you so much. Okay, so rose quartz can really help. When I use this with clients, or I use this on myself, it helps when you are really stressed out. There's a lot of tension in your family. If there's tension in your heart, rose quartz can be used to really help clear out anger, bitterness, jealousy, resentment of others, and it allows you to really heal your heart. And heart issues like diseases associated with the heart and diseases associated with holding on to negative emotions. It's known as kind of like the rose quartz. I mean, it's known as the romance stone, the love stone, right? But it is just a beautiful stone. And I could go on and on about this stone too, because there's so many uses for it. But when you're first starting out building your little crystal toolkit, I definitely recommend that you get a rose quartz too. If you're wanting, I mean, who doesn't want and need love in their life? Another great one, when we were talking about earlier, making sure that you're protecting yourself, especially when you're coming into your gifts, you're starting your new business. You want to attract clients that are good for you and good for your soul, right? So I have a big one, and I don't know where it is right now, but this is, obsidian is an incredible stone to have. Now, these are polished, they're beautiful, they're cute, they'll do their job, but if you can find a raw piece, or not even raw per se, just a bigger piece, you're going to get better results with it. The energy in obsidian is very strong. It is an emotional releasing stone. So anytime I have a client that has went through a lot of trauma, and especially in relationships with the opposite sex, or they have had sexual trauma, working with the obsidian will pull that energy out. And I will be very real, when you first start using obsidian, especially if you're trying to heal from sexual trauma, I recommend you getting a yoni egg for that. And it is an egg-shaped crystal stone, really, for you to use to assist you in the healing. And you put it in your yoni, you put it in your vagina. And we can get into that another time. Feel free if you want more information on that. But then when it's in the vagina, it pulls that sexual trauma and that emotion from that trauma out, okay? And it stores it into that stone. So you want to make sure you cleanse that. But the first few days that you use an obsidian, when you haven't used it before, it can bring up emotions because those were so suppressed that you haven't allowed your body to feel them for a while. It might cause some emotions the first few days. So just do it when you know, like on a weekend. You can give yourself grace, and you can do self-care all that weekend, because it's important that you get those things out. They're already in your body. You don't want them sitting in there, but you also want to make sure you're doing it in a place that's loving and safe for you to do too. But I don't want to pretend that sometimes certain stones aren't going to cause emotions at first when you're using them to heal emotions. Because they may. So just make sure that during that time you're doing water so that you get those toxins out. When you release them, you're also doing Epsom salt baths. Shamika has some incredible tips too, on how you can do self-care to really make sure that you're taking care of you during that time. So that's obsidian. Obsidian, it is, I thought that I had it pulled up because I wanted a better definition than the one I had. So it's a stone that is a super duper powerful stone in cleansing, especially psychic energy, psychic smog. So if you feel like your gifts aren't as strong as they usually are, it can help with that. It protects people with gifts as well. It has a powerful metaphysical properties that will help shield you against negative energy. And they're also, they have the energy that stimulates or basically stimulates the gift of prophecy too. So they're just an amazing stone, and I could go on and on and on. To be honest with you, almost every black stone is going to be a protecting stone. So if you can't afford obsidian, because it is pretty pricey, onyx, there is quite a few different other ones, and I think Shamika, I think you had, no you didn't, but these stones, if they're black, pretty much they are going to protect you. They're going to do pretty much the same thing. They're very, very similar. Almost all black stones are. So that's a great one to have in your kit. A selenite wand is normally very, very inexpensive. It's a great cleansing tool to work with. I literally wand this over my clients in person and virtually before we work together. It's a balancing stone. It literally charges other stones. That's why it's so big like this, because you can put other crystals on it and they will stay on there and it will literally cleanse them and recharge them. So they're great for that. They're beautiful. They're great to use when you might have psychic energy or entities in your home and you feel like there's negative energy in your home, meaning literally from the other side. You can have these up and around your home too to protect you for that. It's great for cleansing your jewelry. You can set your jewelry on it if you have crystal jewelry. Think about that. You wear crystals on your hands and you want to make sure that you definitely cleanse your crystal jewelry too. Anyways, so oh no, I froze that long. So where was I? Where did I end off? Uh-oh. Was I talking about selenite yet? Or was I still on the black stones? So yeah, selenite is an activating wand. You can use it to activate and guide you in healing. It's a great one, like I said, to charge other stones, to cleanse other stones, to cleanse yourself. Make sure you look up different ways to use it because there's just so many beautiful things you can do with it. It really is a healing powerhouse. I love having it. So they're great to channel energy. They're great to just help with many things. So selenite is a great inexpensive one. Let me know where I left off and if I need to redo any. So we went over rose quartz. We went over fluorite. We went over citrine, amethyst, clear quartz, obsidian, pyrite. I think that is a really great start. Tiger eye is another good one you could have in your kit. Aventurine is, I don't know where all my aventurines are, but those are just beautiful, wonderful things to use for healing. So that's what I would put in your kit to start with. Okay, good. So did you get all those though? You heard them all? Because that might have froze for someone else too. So those are great ones to start with. If you don't have access to the crystal store and you need to order them online. So just start with ones that you felt called to that I talked about today. So let's get into, I had a few other questions here that some other people asked, and I want to make sure that I address those. And I apologize, you're seeing half of my face while I do this. So hold on one second. I'm going to pull that up. So people were asking in the anonymous section, they said, what do you see when you see an aura? When you are in a session, you sit down for a session, what do you see? Do you see auras? Do you see colors? Do you see illness? Well, I see all kinds of different things. So when I sit down for a session with a client for a Reiki healing or an inner child healing or shadow work, whatever it is, once we do, I always cleanse my client first. I do a grounding exercise to connect the two of us, especially when I'm doing healing, like touching them or any kind of energy moving. I have to get, with their permission, I have to get connected to them. So once I get connected to their energy and we feel in harmony, there's different things I see with different clients. Sometimes I can see colors all around that person when I close my eyes and I'm really tapping into them. Sometimes I literally see images. I have seen like they're very pixelated images for me. Sometimes it can be things like I'll see a waterfall or an element. Sometimes I'll see fire. I'll see just intense colors. But most of the time it's colors like the picture behind me. I see that. I can see the chakras, and that's what I think of as like chakra colors. Is what it feels like to me. As far as when I tap into their body, when I can feel their sickness, what happens is, hi Faye, hi Lexi. When I'm working with a client, what happens is once I am tuned into their energy and I go over their body with my hands, many times I can feel emotions that are stored and suppressed in the body. So there will be times that I'm touching around the stomach and I will start crying because I can feel all the emotions they have held in for years, and it makes me sad. Or I can feel anger and rage. I can feel bitterness, resentment. So most of the time I can feel their emotions when I'm doing an energy healing, or I can feel parts that have a really high vibration coming off of them, or they have none at all. So I know if I'm not feeling barely any vibration coming off someone, there is a lot of emotions that are stuck in there that are very low operating emotions. So I would know that that would require me to move it, to shift it. And so what I will do is I do certain activities and exercises where I move that from them and I give that to the light to heal it. And then when I come back to that part of the body, I touch it again. Well, I don't physically ever touch, I rarely ever physically touch my client, but I put my hand over it and then I can feel that I have tuned that energy to be in tune with the light, to be in tune with that light force energy and Reiki energy. And it always feels different at the end of the session. So that's what I do. Do I choose to tell my clients what I see? I do. So a lot of my clients also pay me to do tarot sessions with them too, because I do intuitive readings, and I think that that also assists with healing because it brings the clarity. And so with that, all of that is channeled by light and channeled by God and channeled by love. And so there are times that I see that they're holding on a lot of emotion, or I can see that they have a lot of pain in their shoulder, or I'm concerned that it feels like a cyst, or I want them to go check. I have told clients before, I need you to go get your liver checked immediately. I would never withhold that information because I feel that if I am feeling that and seeing that, that my job as a healer is to advise that person they're trusting me to tell them that they need attention, or they're trusting me to help them in their body get the attention it needs. So I don't feel that it would be right as a healer to not reveal what I see, because the whole reason that they're working with me is to have my wisdom be told to them. So yeah, I almost feel like it would be an injustice not to. I am one thing that my clients will tell you, it's very rare that I sugarcoat. I'm very sweet. But if I feel that you are neglecting your body or you're not doing what you need to do for your healing, I'm going to call you out on it because that's why you hired me. So I would definitely tell them. But I would say it in a loving way. But if you keep ignoring me, then I will get a little ghetto. What's the other one? Okay. How did you discover shamanic methods? That's a great question. So about 4 years ago, I think, I was taking meditation classes off of meetup.com, and I walked into an incredible meetup class, and I learned at that time I had never heard of Diksha, and it was like breath of fire breathing and all kinds of things. And so they walked around at the end and they did this third eye awakening and this third eye healing, and it was incredible. And so I kept going to them, and they took me to the side and they said, we don't normally ask, but we were wondering if you'd like to be trained in this and certified in this. And I'm like, oh yeah. So I spent a weekend learning how to do third eye healings. And when I did that, I discovered shamanic journeying, and shamanic journeying is done in different ways. I love the rhythm of the drum in a lot of the shamanic journeying is very symbolic. The different beats of the drum are supposed to activate different brain waves. They're supposed to activate different underworlds and all kinds of things. So it's all working together to really help you journey back to your health and to how you're supposed to, how you're supposed to feel. Not a problem, Erin. Thanks for hopping on. So when you do a shamanic journeying session or soul retrieval session, you simply are put in a meditative state. You are very much awake, and it feels like a guided meditation, but it's so much deeper than that. It is me working with shamanic knowledge, with spiritual knowledge, with God and my spiritual team, guiding you through safety to parts of you that you may have lost along the way, through trauma or through pain, and allowing you to find those places in a safe environment so that you can give them light, love, and we can heal them together and get you back on functioning as a whole and not a fragment. So shamanic journeying is different ways. Sometimes we do it through channeling your spirit animals, sometimes your angels, we talk to them, sometimes it's your inner child, but it's always just a journey session. How I heard about that was also I started diving into it more, and I started working with a shaman to learn and be certified in teaching how to do shamanic journeying. And so I bring that into almost every session I do as well. So yes, I've been trained and certified in that, and I love it. So that's how I discovered that. Another question, do you believe that everything stems from the childhood? Well, I will say that I do believe that pretty much the majority of how you respond, how you react, how you love, how you don't love, and what you tolerate and accept very much stem from the programming of your childhood. So many of us don't realize that, and we invest thousands and thousands of dollars on courses, and we try to learn, okay, I want to learn how to love. I want to learn how to love. I'm going to get this course. I'm going to learn how to be the best partner in the world, but we never actually healed the issues that have caused our love and the way that we receive love and give love to be distorted. So if that happens, right? If that happens, then how on earth is the coach going to know that? The coach isn't going to know that. So the coach is teaching you how she found love, how she loves, but her trauma wasn't the same with love. So until you actually heal what happened to you, then you're going to continue to always attract the same kind of love. You might have better skills now and better tools on how to not lose your shit once you get in love. But until you fix that wound, you're operating from a wounded state. So I do believe that pretty much everything stems from your filtering system, and that's how you respond, and that's also what you keep attracting, and it's also what you're going to say, do, and everything is going to come from that. So long story short there, yes, I believe they are very much in sync together. Even the people that had the best childhood doesn't mean that when you hear the word childhood, it doesn't just automatically mean parents and your grandparents raising you. Think of your childhood. It wasn't just your parents that raised you. The school you went to, and if you were accepted or if you weren't, helped raise you. If you had medical conditions and you were in and out of the hospital, you never got to be a kid, that raised you. The fear of going under the table the first time as a child, I can't even imagine what that would do to you. If you had to move around a lot and you never felt stable, that raised you. So that doesn't mean that you were raised by bad parents or that you had a shitty childhood, but those things in the first few years of your life, as we learned yesterday, are critical to your brain waves, are critical to your energy centers and your response centers. So if those things are out of whack, that's not only what raised you, but that's what's creating your life still today. That is why one of the most important things you can do before you take another workshop, before you invest in a new book, is making sure that you're doing energy work to really get those things that raised you and are still raising you out of your freaking body. Not only out of your body, but you're also doing work to get them out of your mind, out of your heart. So if you're doing any kind of spiritual work, it really is important that you're doing energy work too, because they are a tag team. As we learned yesterday when we were learning about brainwaves, energy work doesn't just mean hiring Leah to put magical crystals on you and do chakra and do shamanic journeying with you. It also can be moving, getting up and moving around, because when you move, you create new energy. It can also mean using essential oils and moving that stuff around. It can mean doing yoga and meditation, because when you breathe in, you wake up those chakra centers. And when you breathe out, you release the trauma in those chakra centers. When you write, it's the same. It's basically yoga on paper. You do the same thing. So when you write, you're doing the same type of thing of releasing. So I know that was a ton of information. I hope that you were able to find a crystal today that we revealed that is sparked your interest. I hope that you now have developed a connection to understand them a little bit more. I couldn't get into all the different ways to use them, like crystal grids and all the things like that, because we just don't have enough time. But I hope that this helped you and strengthen your knowledge in this area, as well as energy healing. If you ever want to talk to me about having an crystal session or a trauma releasing session, or like I said yesterday, I work with mothers and daughters as a collective unit, because I feel that all healing starts with the mother. And I can get into that another day, but when you heal yourself, you heal all the generations behind you and the generations ahead of you. It is so important that we heal ourselves first, because when we come from a healed state, we can actually help others heal. So there is 1,001 ways to work with me, and I would love to talk to you. Or if you're interested in a psychic reading, just let me know. A card reading, I should say. But that is it for the day. You guys have a magical day. Thank you for tuning in and tuning back into you. Thanks again, Erin, for this incredible opportunity. Be sure to check out our community, the Soulful Goddess. It is my heart and passion. We're almost up to 700 members now. It's free. We're all in there to lift each other up, to talk about things like crystals, to talk about things like vaginal health, sexual trauma, our physical and emotional state, and so much more. You name it, we talk about it, or we have an expert who can teach about it. So feel free to check us out. Check out my page, Living Life with Leah, where I post motivational content, motivational videos. And I'm actually getting ready to teach a meditation class, a beginner's guide to meditation in the Soulful Goddess, and would love to see you. And I'm getting ready to launch a course soon about inner child healing and healing with the energy center. So if you're interested, there is a way to work with me, I promise, no matter what your budget is. So definitely hit me up. I look forward to working with you guys, or at least seeing you in the Soulful Goddess. And I cannot thank you enough for just taking the time to watch us and invest back into you. The more you invest into you, not only does it change your world, but it helps change mine. So you guys have a magical day, and I'll talk to you soon. See you soon, Shamika. Thanks for watching.